Hello my friends and welcome back to the rabbit hole. Today's video is going to be a chatty get ready with me video. If you are new to this channel, I do divide this particular type of video so you can watch what you are interested in. The first half of the video will be a more personal discussion, just kind of chatting while applying makeup, and then the second half of the video is where I only review makeup. So depending on what you are more interested in, you can jump around. The look that I'm going for today is going to be one that's much more simple. I'm thinking we'll just do a BB cream, a more basic eye look. Total side note, does this remind you of string theory, or at least what string theory might look like? You see it? You see the strings? Anyway, just something a little bit more simple, because the reality is this is my return to makeup after a few days. I kind of had a little bit of a rough weekend. I actually love that I'm starting this video off downplaying it. No, I actually had a really rough, in particular, it was Sunday, so I'll tell you what happened. So, backstory first, I do deal with a condition called bruxism. You've probably heard of it, and there's a good chance that a good chunk of you watching also deal with it. It's a condition that affects, I believe it's 1 in 3 people. Basically, it's just where you grind your teeth in your sleep. I feel like it's probably like every condition ever, in that there's likely different levels of severity. I don't even think I would have known that I deal with bruxism if I never started dating people, as that's how I ended up finding out from my partner saying, hey, you know, you grind your teeth in your sleep. Who would have known that's one of the dangers of being on the ACE spectrum, which, by the way, I haven't talked about this in a while, but I do consider myself on the ACE spectrum. It apparently confuses people because, yes, my partner is a woman, but before anything else, I see myself as on that spectrum as demi, which, hey, we're not completely forgotten. We're just the last letter in LGBTQIA. There we are. But yeah, something I didn't even really know I dealt with until, I guess, my mid to early 20s, so I was quite surprised by that. It's not anything that is too extreme, and for me, I've done cognitive therapy to deal with it. I do have a mouth guard, but I don't sleep with it that often because I don't deal with the bruxism that often. It's just something that tends to be triggered by stress. Which basically means that as long as I'm able to manage my stress levels, it's not really too much of a problem. I'll, make sure to do some meditation before I go to sleep. I'll do some jaw exercises, and then I don't grind my teeth in the middle of the night. However, I've got a little bit of a problem. The catch is, I can tell you all I want that, as long as I'm not too stressed, everything is under control. But the bigger problem that I face is that I am not necessarily that great at admitting to when I'm under stress. In fact, I tend to have that personality type where I'll kind of push stress away. I'll have something come up in my life, and it'll be something that's, very difficult to deal with. And so I'll say, okay, well, let me emotionally deal with this. Let's see, when is good? How about next Thursday at 3 p.m.? And everybody knows that is not how humans work. You don't schedule your emotions. So I set myself up for a bit of failure here. I set myself up for failure every time I'm convinced I'm going to deal with something later. I think I tend to be somebody who internalizes what's going on in the country. And so, all this conflict, I don't have words for what's going on, for what happened at the Capitol. I don't have words for it. I'm just at a loss for how anybody, for any moment, thought that was okay, and now as these people get arrested, every one of them is shocked Pikachu face. But if you ask me, this stuff is very deeply heartbreaking because, we as a country, we have to come together. We should be coming together to make this a better country instead of, again, I don't know where to start with all of this. So I have a feeling that what had happened was eating away at my soul, and yet I was trying to just, go forth and not dwell on it too much, because I do genuinely think there's a cutoff point with the news, a point at which I had probably gone over, but, how much can you really do? I think that always ends up being the question I come back to is, what are you gonna change? What are you capable of doing to reverse this situation? Because I'm pretty sure it's nothing. So as these things go, by Saturday night, I was probably holding back a lot of these kind of emotions, you know, just kind of pushing them back, thinking I could deal with them later. So I wake up Sunday morning and it was just instant pain. I sat up in bed. I could feel what I had done to my mouth in my sleep. I immediately knew it was a bruxism episode because it was like this pain was just shooting out from the corner of my jaw, just shooting into my body. I could feel that I had gnawed at my lip. You could probably still see it's a little swollen, but I'd completely gnawed at it. I had this huge bite all along here, this long line inside my mouth, which I don't even know how I accomplished this. I had to have, I don't know how I accomplished it, but I could tell I had shifted my entire jaw and bitten down hard on the inner cheek. Yeah, pain. It was very painful. So let me tell you, Sunday was a very painful day for me. I could barely eat. When I finally did eat, I managed to bite my lip, so that was extremely painful. And then I go to bed on Sunday night and I'm thinking, okay, well, this is fine. I'll just, do my meditations and do my jaw stretches. Nope, Monday morning, same exact thing, same exact shooting pain, continuing this horrible situation for me. And it's not like I was going to turn this camera on and make a video on Sunday or Monday when my face was that swollen. Not only was it swollen, I could only talk out of one side of my mouth. That would not have been a pleasant video for you to watch, I feel. But I'm an overanalyzer, so I was thinking how bizarre it is that I've electively removed myself from social media because I don't feel like I'm putting my best self forward. And at the end of the day, I do want this to be a channel that you all can enjoy rather than feel stressed out for my health, right? That doesn't sound fun. But it was so fascinating because I was really thinking about how I'm over here kind of reinforcing the idea that I think is already prevalent on social media, and that is that if you look at social media, nobody is ever having a bad day. That is the opposite of reality. Everybody has bad days, but we just don't put them on social media. I mean, let's be honest here. This is the thing that psychologists are concerned about with social media, and I do think we'll see research into this in the future, is this impact of, the way that certain influencers present themselves on social media as if their lives are just always perfect, as if they, constantly are traveling and constantly partying, even in this time. Very frustrating, please don't get me started. Anyway, the question here is, what are the long-term effects of that? Do people see that and think that that really is those people's reality, especially younger people? Or are they able to compartmentalize that those people are only putting their best self forward and really, curating what their life looks like, which is really a fascinating thing that we can only do now. It's almost like The Sims. I don't know if I'm dating myself too much with saying that. No, I'm not, because I saw Mac's newest collection, or should I say disaster. And again, the reason I said younger people is because I think the older you get, the more you're like, oh yeah, those people are just presenting that way. In fact, when it comes to some of the luxury items that they have, the designers that I'm over here not even knowing how to pronounce, I gotta wonder if that stuff is real or if they have, what do they call them, fakes? I wouldn't doubt it for a second. If these people have mastered Facetune and BodyTune, they can probably make their inauthentic designer items look more real. They can really fake an entire life. Okay, total side note while we're here, because while I know nothing about the designer world, I need to know the pronunciation of that company that starts with an H. Is it Hermes, Hermes, or Herms? I don't think it's Herms. It might be. The most expensive bag in my collection was $89, and I still didn't pay full price. But it really got me thinking back to March, back to when we had all of the lockdowns, and how people were saying that we were still craving in-person social interactions, even though we have this incredible social media at our fingertips where we can interact with anybody. Wouldn't you think that we should absolutely not feel lonely in the slightest bit, and yet somehow social media leaves us wanting more? So what I think happens with social media is that we can tell deep down that people aren't being entirely authentic, and yet there's a part of us that really appreciates the fantasy world of Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We appreciate that it's almost like we do step into this game of The Sims. However, we need a balance of reality, and the problem with social media is that as long as people are putting forth a non-true self, we sense that and we don't get the same fulfillment that we might get from the in-person interactions, where somebody might say, oh, you know, sorry, I'm a little tired today, sorry, I'm a little out of it today, whatever people say. I think that it's just something that you can't quite replicate in a world where people are cultivating their personality. I gotta be quiet with this because this is not quite the right shade for me, so I gotta highlight very lightly. I feel like any other time in history I could tell you about this really simple resolution to this problem called make sure you experience plenty of real life in balance with your social media experiences. But ooh, isn't that a whole nother level of difficult right now? I'm actually floored by how quickly I finished this look. This was actually really fast, but more on that when we get to the reviews. I still want to wrap up my chat here. So the point of all this, the point of me having this bad day behind the scenes, but then choosing to get on camera and tell you all about it anyways, because I think that it is really important for you all to know, you know, these are some very hard times that we're going through, not just as a country, but as an entire world, and it is okay to have bad days. Even if you look at social media, you look at Instagram, and you're sitting there thinking, but nobody else is having a bad day. No, they probably are. It's probably just behind the scenes. And one more thing before I close out this whole conversation, since in case you don't know this, I do have an undergrad degree in psychology and it's a very important field to me. I want to make sure I reiterate that, you know, this is such an important time to see a therapist if this is something that is starting to really weigh you down. I know a lot of people believe that therapy is only for people who have severe mental issues, but in fact, I would absolutely argue the opposite. I think it is one of the best preventative approaches, kind of like how, you know, eating an apple every day is considered healthy for your physical health. Seeing a therapist when you're starting to feel like, oh, I have some things I'd like to get off my chest, that's great prevention in terms of mental health. So anyway, how about we go over the makeup? I am so floored by how easy today's look was, but I think there's some reasons for that, which I'll share with you. So starting off with the Colored Raine Smoke Show eyeshadow palette, which I don't even think I've shown you yet. I really like Colored Raine as a brand, but to be honest with you, I'm a little underwhelmed by this particular palette. I was drawn to it because it's more mattes than shimmers, and I tend to think that you don't need as many shimmers as you need mattes. You can do a lot of shading with mattes, whereas with shimmers, you know, you can just put one all over the lid, which is what I did today. But these are kind of powdery. I did have a little bit of issues building up the deepest shade in here in my outer V, so I'm a little mixed on this. I haven't used it much. This is a new to my collection, but so far I'm just kind of thinking, well, it seems like they probably have some better eyeshadow palette options, but I'd like to see them release more of these tiny ones. I'm telling you, I think it'll be the future. I think we'll see more small palettes. And the other palette is from Physicians Formula. This is the Rosé All Day and ExteriorGlam collection. I got this because I'm in some influencer Voxbox campaign, and they said they're gonna pay me back for the full price of this. So we'll see. Maybe I shouldn't hold my breath, but I figured this is only $10, so even if they don't, that's not bad. But I feel like I already had the same experience that I always have with Physicians Formula with my first use of this palette. I only use this shade in my eyeshadow, that's what's all over my lid, and it is pretty, but can you see how beat up this is? Can you see how much I had to dig into here to get the color out, and then I had to use spray on my brush or it was not happening? I'm just really underwhelmed with Physicians Formula eyeshadows. I don't think they're the best quality, but their face products are so good. This is a very pretty blush. It's kind of light, so I don't know how it will work on deeper skin tones, but anywhere from medium to light, this is probably going to complement almost everyone. This kind of a light pink is really pretty on everyone, and it's funny because I feel like for a while people did not like pink blush, but it's always been a more universally flattering color. The highlighter is a little bit deep for my skin tone. I think it's going to be better for medium skin tones, but you know, I just buffed it out. That makes it look a lot more natural, so I can certainly pull it off. I haven't tried the other products. Let's try this perfume. We can do that right now. Rosé All Day Eau de Parfum. This is an Eau de Parfum? Used to Eau de Toilets. I apologize, that was the incorrect response. I am supposed to sit here and say, if you really love the smell of rose, you will love this perfume, and I am quietly gonna go wash my wrists off camera. Oh, that is strong. Physicians Formula, I didn't even know they were capable of a strong perfume, and here I am not loving the smell of rose. That's all it is. That's all it boils down to. I don't love the smell of rose, and I got smacked in the face with it. I don't know if I'm going to love this lip color, but funny enough, I actually do have another one of these in my collection. Let's see. Oh, actually, no. I thought this was going to be more of a coral color. That's a little bit more of a coral brown, which I might actually be able to pull off, but I wanted to do clear today. I got to go out later, and I don't want to mess with the lipstick transfer onto the masks. You know. I have got to go grocery shopping. I have put it off for the reasons that I gave at the beginning of this video. Anyway, moving on, we have the Eylure Line and Lash, which I was kindly gifted by the company. I was really excited to try this because I tried the velour one. I don't remember the name, but I'll put it on the screen. It's one of those products where it's an eyeliner and a lash adhesive all in one. It's velour, so it's expensive, but it worked. But Eylure is out here coming out with a dupe, and I hesitate to use the word dupe. I don't think it is easy to make a dupe, but I think they successfully did it for $7.98. That is what I wore today, but I'm going to tell you a few things with it. I intentionally chose an easy lash to pair with it. This is from House of Lashes. I don't know if this one is labeled. I actually got this from Target. Yeah, they don't say the name of it, but it's I'll try to put a picture up on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about, or at least a similar type of lash. So it's one of those lashes that doesn't really have that band on it, and that makes it a lot more flexible, a lot easier to apply than lashes that do have the thick band. However, it also means they don't last as long. My biggest problem with those invisible lash type of lashes is that as much as you'd think it'd be really easy to apply, when you put the glue directly onto the lash, you have to put the whole system onto your eyelid, and if you miss, you end up with a lash kind of floating above your eye. Has anyone done this? Someone has done this. And the reason I like this idea so much is that you're putting the liner exactly where the lash hypothetically should go. It's just hard to get it there when the glue itself is on the lash and not on your eyelid. So this system works really, really well when it works, and that's the catch. I think if you have an eyelash, especially with the thicker band, that doesn't match the shape of your eye, then it doesn't stick as well to this, because I will admit to you, it's not as strong as the traditional lash glue. But lashes like this, where it's already exactly matching the shape of my eye, this stays. I don't have any problems with this lifting. It's perfect because the lash itself is perfect, so it only needs a lighter glue. So I'm personally impressed with this, just like I was with Eylure's magnetic lashes. I think these are so great for people who kind of struggle with lashes. Eylure just seems to be really nailing that niche, which I feel like has to be a lot of us. But nonetheless, if you are used to thicker, bands. Do know that it's not as sticky, and you may have to, at the very least, put a little bit more lash glue on the ends of the band, just so it has more reinforcing it. Then we have the Catrice Clean ID Hydro BB Cream, 99% natural ingredients, vegan and non-comedogenic. I actually really appreciate that they did a clean product and didn't throw any fragrance into it, but also this does not have great reviews because it is so light. I mean, you can see it's not really giving me kind of any coverage. You can still see that I had a little bit of a breakout. Somebody put some bergamot into their skincare routine by accident. But we're all about acne positivity over here, so we're just gonna roll with it. But yeah, it's a very, very light coverage. I think if you're already pretty happy with your skin, you just kind of want to even it out a little bit more, this is going to be for you. If you are expecting any coverage whatsoever, no, it's no coverage. Oh, they even describe it well on the packaging. The skin-loving texture diffuses the appearance of little imperfections for that myself but better feeling. Yeah, that's exactly what it does. I mean, they nailed the description of this, and this is $10. That's a great price. I once again used the Tarte Shape Tape Glow Wand, which I personally absolutely love, but this is one of those products where apparently it's a product that I love and everybody else hates, but it's the same reason. It's practically no coverage. All it does is give you a little bit of a brightening effect under your eyes, but are you kidding? That is perfect for products like that Catrice BB Cream. They pair together so well, so well. I feel like the problem with this is that, you know, it's the Shape Tape line. Shape Tape has got to be one of the most full coverage concealers in all of existence, and their counterpart to it is the most low coverage in all of existence. I'm sure it was very confusing for a lot of people, but yeah, if you're into low coverage, this is amazing. And the Catrice Sungasm Luminizing Bronzer. I was not sure how I would feel about this, but this was very highly recommended by one of you, so I thought I'd give it a try. This is a shimmery bronzer, which I almost never like. But I gotta admit, blended out, this looks so natural. It's actually very pretty, and let's have a conversation about how bronzer is one of few makeup accessories right now that people can see outside of your mask. I'm just saying. And look at how pretty the packaging is. I feel like I don't say that often of drugstore brands. I mean, think of Physicians Formula's giant casing bronzers, but yeah, this is actually really pretty. The person who recommended this also said that it's a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. As somebody who doesn't really love bronzer, I'm probably never going to buy that to be able to tell you if they compare. But I can tell you, I am pleasantly surprised with this. And the last product for this video, this is from my GlamLite order, which I'll eventually haul for you all. This is the Tequila lip gloss. I'm just into clear lip glosses these days for obvious reasons. But it's a bit of an odd smell. I don't know how to describe it. It's definitely got a scent to it. I think it's lime. I think it's just lime. There is a part of me that is jumping to the association of tequila and wants to tell you it's that, but I don't think it is. And at the same time, I feel like I can smell lime and salt. It could be just me. It's absolutely lime. It's absolutely lime, but I don't know if there's anything else. It's a nice gloss, actually. It's not got a stickiness to it. It just also does not last long at all. It's that whole trade-off. If a lip gloss has no stickiness to it, you can expect it to last for 10 minutes on your lips. If it is very sticky, it's probably gonna last. And that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me know in the comments below how you're doing. Let me know if you are managing your stress well, if you have any tips on that. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.